The year is long, but I am longer. My name's Devin. Here's what I watched this week. Starting off, we have Interstellar. Now, this is from 2014, but it's the first time that I ever watched this, and man, I just regret that I had to watch it on the iPad. I wish I could have watched it in IMAX. I wish I could have experienced that, but unfortunately, this is what I get. I think this is Christopher Nolan's second best film behind Dark Knight. I'm not usually a space genre kind of guy, but Matt Damon in space? That's one of my favorite genres right there. I love this. I love The Martian. Those ones, fantastic, top tier. I don't know if this was a creative decision on Christopher Nolan's part, but honestly, if I was Cooper, I probably wouldn't care about my kid after he turned into Casey Affleck either. So I can't really give him too much grief for caring so much more about Murph than Tom. So this movie overall for me was a huge gut punch. It really asks you, how selfless can you be? How far can your selflessness take you until, I mean, you have to act selfishly. You have to get back to that family. You have to be there for yourself. And that's something that I'm asking a lot now with a child, with a son now. It's really tough. Overall, I give this one a 9 out of 10. I think if I saw it in IMAX, I would have given it a 10. Seven Psychopaths is my next movie. From 2012, Colin Farrell stars as Martin McDonagh as he writes his screenplay about his life unfolding around him unintentionally. I had no idea what this movie was about going in. I went in blind, and let me say, I was completely surprised. I didn't expect it, and exactly what it gave me, I honestly can't tell you. My standout here was Woody Harrelson. He really nailed that blend of menace and comedy that you needed in The Psychopath. He knows how to blend those two so well, and I think that's when he's at his best. I genuinely was surprised when I found out that this wasn't a Coen film. It felt a lot like Burn After Reading, if you've seen that. It was really good. The dark comedy was blended really well with everything that, Colin Farrell had to go throughout the movie, and I really enjoyed it. Just like any other Coen Brothers movie, Martin McDonagh really killed this one. Overall, this was a unique storytelling blend of violence and writer's block somehow mixing together. I don't know how you do that, but McDonagh managed to do this. I gave this one a 7 out of 10. For my third movie, I ended up going to John Wick. Now, I haven't watched this in years. This is from 2014 also. Weird coincidence, it's also the second movie where there's a dog thief, and I mean, he gets what's coming to him. If you've seen either of these two movies, it's really obvious. Chad Stahelski, he's coming from a stunt background, and it really shows in this movie. I appreciated everything from it. My biggest gripe with it, and I mentioned this on Letterboxd, there weren't enough pencil kills. I think they set that up in the beginning that he could kill anybody with just a pencil, and there was no pencil kills in this one. I mean, maybe there's something to come along. I haven't seen the other ones. If you want to see a baseline of where I'm at with watching movies, let that be it, because I still haven't seen John Wick 2, 3, or even 4, and that's just where we're at right now. From the very beginning, when Keanu Reeves speaks Russian, I think that's the hook that got me, and it kept me going all the way through until the end, kind of. It petered out a little bit at the end. After the main bad guy dies, see ya, John. That is where it should have ended. I think that it started to go down a little bit in quality after that, but that's all right. Overall, 8 out of 10. For my fourth overall movie of the year, fourth of the week, it was the Luigi Mangione Manhunt 2020 from ABC. If you can really call that a movie, it's more of a special. I'm counting it because it's on Letterboxd, and I was able to log it. Genuinely, this was rushed, sloppy, and tone deaf. Why put this out? Everything isn't settled yet. There's no reason for it. I think that ABC was out for a quick buck here, and they settled on this, and I mean, they made their money, but like I said, it's unnecessary. And yeah, 1 out of 10. Don't watch it. After that dumpster fire of a feature, I ended up going to the movie theater to see Mufasa: The Lion King. Now, I gotta say, I grew up on The Lion King, and it's ingrained in my head. One of my favorite movies of all time. But this it didn't do it. If there's an uncanny valley for animals, this had it, and it was just uncomfortable a little bit. It looked beautiful. The setting, everything, the trees, the rocks, the snow, everything looked amazing. But the animals just gave off a little bit of too much of the Uncanny Valley vibes, and it just wasn't for me. In addition to that, the plot had some holes, some character motivation that wasn't super, intriguing, I guess would be the word. Timon and Pumbaa, I gotta go there. They were completely unnecessary in this movie. Kiara, also unnecessary. I think the whole point of setting it up the way that they did was, it was unneeded. They didn't need to go through the story, telling the story. They should have just went into a prequel. Now, those guys are unnecessary, but I get it. They're in there for a money grab. The people that were, the characters that were included that really elevated the movie were Rafiki and Zazu. I think seeing them before, their Pride Lands employment, I guess you could call it, was fun. I enjoyed seeing them as characters. The voice acting was really good. The songs, everything, the whole Lin-Manuel Miranda of it all was great. I enjoyed the songs. They were catchy. And just seeing Mufasa again is fantastic. He's always been idolized in my eyes. He's the perfect Renaissance man, if you can call him that. As a character, he's humble, he's brave, he's kind. He looks out for everybody, and he's just really well-rounded. On the other side, Taka was... I think that his story was fun. I think everything that he did after he saved one person, he really rode the coattails of that his entire life. And it was fun to see him just degenerate into what we know he becomes later. Obviously, it's a prequel, you know what happens. Overall, it didn't hit the mark for me because I thought the animation should have just been 2D like the original, but I have to give it a 7 out of 10. It was good. I liked it. Moving on to one of the most heartwarming movies I've seen in the last, decade. This was Peanut Butter Falcon from 2019. It has Shia LaBeouf. He's the same character in almost every movie. And in this one, he's just a little bit different. He's country Shia. And it's very obvious. They pound that in really hard. The whole sentiment of everybody just needs that one person to believe in you is one that, if you pull it off simply like this, it's perfect. It's a good motivation for everybody, and it's just a nice story. I wasn't huge on the Shia LaBeouf and Dakota Johnson co-mingling. I didn't really like the chemistry there. Didn't work out. The ending with the whole head bashing and then moving to Florida, that didn't really work out to me. I didn't really dig the ending. I think they could have ended it on a better note. Overall, really heartwarming, simple, 8 out of 10. The last movie I watched in week 1 was A Quiet Place Day 1 from last year. Lupita is obviously the gem of this movie. Her acting is fantastic all the time, especially her facial acting. Her eyes specifically, she can pull off any kind of movie. Unfortunately, I just didn't feel like the plot progressed enough for me. I wasn't a huge fan of Joseph Quinn. I hope that he's better in Fantastic Four. I hope he can bring Johnny Storm to life. We'll see. I gotta say, maybe I'm a bit of a downer, but that cat would not have made it through those 3 days that the movie took place. It's either gonna be loud and kill you, or it's just gonna get lost. There's no way that it finds you after all of this. I just don't like it. One thing I have to mention is the CGI in this one felt like a step down from the two previous ones. It felt disconnected. The characters in the foreground felt like they were completely separate from the background, and it was just weird. Generally, for me, this one was forgettable, and I think they should have just stopped at the first 2. Overall, giving it a 5 out of 10. That's all I got this week. If you've seen these movies, what did you think about them? Let me know in the comments what I should add to my watch list. I'm always updating that. Follow me on Letterboxd. I'm at Devin S. And subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next week.